Hi everyone, welcome to my final critical assignment presentation for COM 510 titled Face-to-Face Communication and Cancel Culture. This critical assignment focuses on cancel culture via digital media channels such as social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, although the emphasis will be on Twitter considering cancel culture predominantly existing there. My name is Kendra Craighead and I am excited to share my final critical assignment with all of you. So to get started with my methodology, this critical assignment is focused on the effects of cancel culture via digital media on face-to-face interactions as well as personal and professional relationships. The research question states, does cancel culture have a significant effect on face-to-face communication? Cancel culture is defined as the digital trend to quote-unquote cancel a person, place, or idea that no longer speaks to the current political correct climate. One example of cancel culture that I talk about in my final paper is a recent issue of pop singer-songwriter Niall Horan. He released an album that was not received well by audiences, and within hours of its release time, there was a trending hashtag that read Niall Horan is canceled. So that's just one example of how cancel culture exists online. However, my methodology wants to find out how users who engaged in and created that trending hashtag might react to people in their real life social circles or outside of their social circles who maybe thought the album was good or who support Niall Horan and the music that he put out that many people, many audiences didn't agree with. So how does the online cancel culture relate to instances in real life on the same subject? The methodology that I chose to sort of collect data on this topic would begin with a focus group. So according to our course textbook, a focus group is a research method where people are interviewed about a specific topic. Focus groups can range from formal group interviews, informal group interviews, to brainstorming sessions, to group interviews in the field. As well, this methodology would be a qualitative method, which is best for describing, interpreting, contextualizing, and gaining in-depth insight into specific concepts or phenomena. So how to qualify behavior of cancel culture participants? Well, cancel culture exists mostly and predominantly on Twitter. Being able to identify a focus group that uses Twitter frequently and is familiar with cancel culture, as well as topics surrounding cancel culture, as well as create a survey with questions intended to reveal connections between cancel culture participation and real-life interactions and relationships. So one example I have of this is, have you ever stopped being friends with someone because they didn't agree with something you read online? So some communication theories associated with this study include the elaboration likelihood model, framing theory, cultivation theory, uses and gratification theory, and groupthink. The chosen methodology is a qualitative study, which I explained earlier, and it will utilize a focus group, an interview survey, and observations of the selected participants who have a familiarity with cancel culture on Twitter. So what I learned about research and evaluation through this study, evaluation claims are used when you judge the worth of or value of a communication message you are analyzing or studying. Communications is a technological system for the transmission of information. Specifically in this case, considering communication theory, and communication can have broad and ranging definitions. Research is the detailed or in-depth study of a subject, often a theory, to reach a greater understanding or to obtain new information about the subject. So with these definitions in mind, I plan to explore how cancel culture contributes to the discussion of real-life interactions. To the dissolution of real-life interactions, creating generic narratives of the other that dissuade people from wanting to understand the opposition. So basically what I mean here is I want to explore how cancel culture and other online trends contribute to the fading of real life interactions, or to the terminating of those real life interactions based on online interaction, and creating how these trends create generic narratives of otherness. So if one group of people don't agree with something online, then they become generically classified as the other. And this ultimately dissuades people from wanting to even connect or understand the opposition. So basically, how online trends are dividing people on otherwise trivial topics. So that's a part of my reflection for this research study. One way that I want to improve this research study, I would want to expand it. So from how does cancel culture, affect face-to-face interaction, I could expand to how does cancel culture contribute to the dissolution of real-life interactions, creating generic narratives of the other that dissuade people from wanting to understand the opposition. I would begin this process by collecting examples of cancel culture at work through online conversations sampled from social media platforms such as Twitter. So how are people engaging in cancel culture? Next, connect with the users who posted, engaged with, liked, or shared content relating to cancel culture, and interview them. Why did they post that? Why are they engaging with that? Why are they perpetuating this trend? Direct interviews to lead participants to answer questions about how they feel about the opposition and whether or not they would be interested in getting to know them personally. So how do these online interactions inform their feelings on getting to know someone in real life? And from these answers, I would create a graphic that exemplifies the data between cancel culture users and their desires for relationships with those who disagree with them. So if there's two opposite sides of an issue online and it's involved in surrounding cancel culture, does that make a person automatically not want to get to know someone else? Is their opinion completely their identifier, or are they interested in getting to know them on a deeper level as to why maybe they think that way, and et cetera, et cetera. Finally, how would I refine this research study? Well, just briefly to go over the details of my methodology, this study will technically take a mixed method approach using both surveys and interviews to collect data. The surveys will be available online while the interviews will be done face-to-face in order to reflect the two components of the study itself. The focus group of interview participants will be selected based on their engagement with cancel culture via Twitter or other social media platforms where quote-unquote canceling is predominant. My participants in sample, this research method would conduct interviews with a focus group of college students ranging from first to four-year students who are active Twitter users and are familiar with the term cancel culture. I selected college students because to me this makes sense as the selected sample because of their familiarity with technology and their awareness of cancel culture in terms of politics, pop culture, and so on. Procedures: the survey will be offered online and will collect demographical information, the amount of time spent online and on social media platforms, the participants' familiarity with cancel culture, what the user believes about cancel culture, and how the user interacts online versus in real life or in physical social situations. The in-person interview will cover the same questions as the survey, but additionally will offer the participant an opportunity to explain more in depth how their participation in online cancel culture affects their worldview. For example, does quote-unquote canceling or disagreeing with someone's behavior online then make that person disconnect from people in real life who exhibit the same behavior or who agree with the behavior of the opposition? These methods will allow the researchers to collect data on the effects of cancel culture and the engagement with real-life communication. So to refine this, How online communities contribute to our shared reality as a global community is something that has always interested me. How cancel culture affects our daily interactions is definitely a direction that I would be interested in taking this research proposal. How we engage online heavily influences the way we treat others in our real life circle, especially with regards to political and religious beliefs. So I believe that what we read online and the broad sweeping narratives that the media create to be posted via Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook inform how we view those groups and the people who represent them in our personal lives. I would refine this topic to reflect how political discourse in online spaces, such as Twitter, affect the way we discuss politics in real life. So, for example, if someone unfollows a user based on their political beliefs, will they also stop talking to a friend in real life based on the same reasoning? So, that is a direction I would love to take this topic of mine that I have presented to you for my critical assignment for COM 510. Next up are all of my references that I included in my paper as well. Here's the first page. Page number 2 for references, and finally the third page. So that concludes my presentation on face-to-face communication and cancel culture. I look forward to reading your questions and comments in the discussion board. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking with all of you.